What's the issues with our society? Why we get out of this, let's call balance or misalignment? Alignment.
Well, on the physical level, first of all, we start with children that sit way too much. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, in my generation also, we were seated too much in school. I mean, long hours that you have to sit, and then at home you have to sit some more and do your homework. But these days, many schools have extended their schooling hours because it's more practical for the parents to have their free working time as well. And then on top of the school seated hours, a lot of children are placed in front of a tablet or in front of a phone. So they're sitting more. Then, later you have the educational programs, so you're seated again. And, I mean, unfortunately, unless you have like an educational program where you're kind of like more working, like constructors or whatever, they're like out on their legs. Of course, they have their own danger part, right? Because labor is kind of like heavy on the body sometimes as well. But for most people, the seated position is one of the I think most common diseases that we have. And but of course, then I mean, there's people that are relaxed and they're seated all their life and they don't feel pain, whatever. They're maybe a little bit weakish on their physical level, but they're like not so much full of pain. So what usually comes then in addition is that we have this very fast spinning world, which is putting a lot of pressure on the people. So I think a good half of the tensions that reside in the body will come from stressful emotions. So that's a kind of like a natural thing. If you're like in a fight or flight remote, usually everything tenses up to have enough power to run or to fight or whatever. And if you, for example, have parents that don't let you off the hook when you're like training for school because they want you to be the perfect next whatever, this is a lot of stress for the children already. Then there's a lot of emotional stress in schools from teachers, from other school children. We have a big impact on the entire media world. How to be, how to function, how you should, where you should get, who you should become. And so there's kind of like a stress input from all levels. And that on a seated body that cannot get out of it. Because one thing is very natural for the body is when you have stress, you should get moving. As soon as like the real threat is over, you should get your body moving until the stress hormones are worked out again.